Make sure we're live. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we are live. We are live. What's up, guys? Rafe Realm TV with Fatal. We're here to present SlamZoneSports review of AEW Dynamite for 9/14/2022 Tournament of Champions semifinals. Champion has, we got some results. We got stuff for Grand Slam next week. And, I'm here with the co-owner of SlamZoneSports, co-host, Fatal Streams. Go ahead and say hello, buddy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
It's got that ASMR voice going on today. So I'll let you kick it off, Fatal, since you got a lot to say. And I know we're going to get into some news. We got a lot to cover today. We got a lot to talk about. So anyway, Fatal, go ahead and take us on off with this review.
Well, I mean, we kicked it off with the Sammy Guevara John Moxley match which I feel like they kind of pre-ejaculated with that a little bit, in layman's terms, I guess, not better, terms to use really. They kind of, I see they wanted to kick it off with something big, but I feel like they could have kicked it off with MJF and had just as much of a pop as they would have, starting off the John Moxley Sammy Guevara match. Because yes, John Moxley was always going to squash him, but it's a better mid card or sharing the main event spotlight than an opener.
I agree with you. I think Tony Khan. Well, they're coming out of what is it? The Big Bang Theory. It gets. I have no idea, guys. You guys are gonna shame me. I didn't watch Big Bang Theory. I don't understand the whole thing on it. Fatal maybe can explain to me offhand what it's all about, but it draws in views. So I get why Tony Khan was doing what he was doing. He was playing his cards, and I agree with Fatal that he ejaculated on the whole idea of we need to get one of the big matches on now. Get right into it because the viewership is there. They turn on the Dynamite and they just go with it. And to me, this match could have been in the middle of the card, to be honest with you. It could have been in the middle where people are kind of at slow period in Dynamite where you're just like, oh, this is going to be a squash match or we already know who the outcome is. They could have just done it that way. They could have had MJF come out. I agree with Fatal there. They could have had MJF cut a huge promo right in the beginning for a good 15 minutes. And, we'll get into the promo here in a minute, but Fatal, go ahead. Continue.
Where are we at? The MJF promo?
Yeah, we were talking about the pre-ejaculation of.
Yeah, I mean, John Moxley was always going to win that. I mean, that was always going to be a thing. If not, you have Sammy Guevara versus who? Chris Jericho.
Right. Right.
Like, I don't know where you go if you have Sammy Guevara win that, and you're just setting him up to lose the grand stage,
Right.
But needless to say, I feel like the MJF promo, the way he came out and cut his own music, he was immediately just pissed off, stomping to the ring, full-blown 1000% heel. Oh my God. Like, that's what we need. That's what AEW needs from MJF right now, is that guy you can just hate forever,
Right.
I don't get why you have him introduce Stokely Hathaway and the rest of the crew and not have him stay in the ring with them. Why do you have MJF go off screen at that point? Why is he not in the picture anymore?
I agree with you with that. And I also thought in that moment, I thought Pinnacle 2.0? I was like, Pinnacle
was that just a way for MJF to end that and still leave and still put somebody else over without just leaving the crowd with just dead, until the next match?
I think it was more of giving a rub to Stokely Hathaway, if I'm saying his name right. And sorry if I'm butchering his name. I think it was just to give him a rub because he helped him get the chip.
Yeah.
I think it was a rub to his faction. Now I can also see them pulling off the Pinnacle 2.0 with this, with MJF being the
Right.
feature piece of
If it
this.
goes over, yeah,
Yeah.
if it goes over really well. But at the same time, I feel like it was a little too long too.
Yeah.
Adding that whole Stokely thing and everything, it made that whole promo segment a little bit too long. And I feel like they could have did the Stokely promo with the rest of them after the Tony Storm tag team match.
Are,
Right before the John Moxley, or not, right before Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. You could have had that segment.
are you with me on this? That they could have just ditched the whole Stokely Hathaway thing and just kept MJF on the mic for another like 5 minutes?
They could have. They could
Because
have kept him
he was killing
on the
it,
mic for another 2 minutes even,
right?
and then just ended it there and went on.
And had them come out
But
next if they or
yeah,
break off, have a
or
match, then
later
have them
on,
come out.
or maybe it's a backstage segment. You know, it could have
Right.
been anything else, but I don't feel like the right move was having MJF introduce them and then not have him stay in the ring with them.
I agree with that. Like
That doesn't make
100%.
sense to me.
To me, I felt it was a run-on promo. They were cutting. They didn't have anything to
Yes,
fill
it was
time.
very run on. Yeah.
This is the problem with Tony Khan, and this is the one thing I noticed with Tony Khan. And I know, and I'm going to say this in this review because I know we're live. I'm going to say a lot of things. This is starting to fall on Tony Khan, and Fatal and I have been talking about this. Tony Khan has to get better here in this dark time of AEW, and I know I've been a little critical. So is Fatal about this dark time AEW. You got to start featuring your stars better. You got to give
And,
these promos better.
yes, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but a better production standpoint, what I would have done as a producer backstage, you have MJF out there shooting that big promo right before he gets ready to just leave the ring. Wardlow's music fucking hits. Wardlow stomps out to the fucking ring. MJF slowly backs out of the ring. Wardlow steps into the center of the ring, grabs the microphone, and just issues an open challenge for the TNT Championship. Just egging, MJF on, and then have somebody else accept the open challenge, and then have MJF just sitting there sour faced, healed. It puts Wardlow over. It kind of reignites that little bit of a rivalry there for later on storyline. They have a lot of history. That would have been way better to lead into than the Stokely Hathaway shit.
Is it just me? Do I feel like I don't know if you feel this way as me. Is it just me? Do I feel that MJF should be fighting in the ring at some point and winning, like maybe to me, like a Grand Slam? I feel like if they're in the dark times as we say they are, why don't you have MJF go against Wardlow and just have MJF win the belt for the hell of it? Just have him win the belt, walk in, cash in, and have dual championships. That's never been done before outside of Pac. 2 major championships. You know what I mean? And then you reignite that whole feud between MJF and Wardlow, and you have Wardlow go over what it should have been done originally. You redo that, and you have Wardlow go over, and then you finally launch Wardlow off the ground. I don't, to me, I just feel like MJF should have a fight here at Grand Slam for a belt or something, because he's a major.
But I think that's the way they're going with it. Is you got John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson in the finals, right?
Right.
They're not going to want either one of those guys to lose to each other. They're part of the same faction. They got this and that. They don't really have a rivalry. So I see that midway, 3/4 of the way through the match, both of them are down. They're looking like they're down and out. Somebody's about to get pinned. MJF music hits, cashes in. He takes the title from both of them. Neither one of them lose. They're still good friends afterwards. And then MJF goes on to other things.
And then Moxley goes on vacation for a minute, like he was supposed to.
Yeah. He goes on vacation for a little bit. He goes into the shadows because everybody's going to be focused on MJF. They won't miss him as much. And then when he does come back, he'll get a big pop.
Here's my conspiracy. So you have Wardlow, right? And this is my conspiracy. I may be reading, wrestling, fantasy booking hat, conspiracy theory, Rafe. I think you let John Moxley, if you're going to go that way, you have John Moxley be off TV for a minute. It's going to hurt the ratings. We're going to see where the ratings fall in. We had a little, during the watch along, a little bit of a, friendly wager. We're going to see where we are. If they hold to maybe 1 million, we'll see. My thing is, if you have Moxley, if you're not putting the Redeemer on TV, you're not featuring Cape Sabian or any of these people, they need to start featuring these people. It's unacceptable that you don't have these people in like some type of storyline ready to go for Rampage or Dark or Elevation or something. They need to start doing these shows better and having it like a symphony or like an orchestra, where these storylines follow through to these other shows, because Elevation could be their Monday Night Raw and Dark could be their version of NXT. Just Tony Khan to me falls flat. But anyway, get back to my points, because I'm my point. Jon Moxley comes back. Wouldn't it be something if they have they want to keep the star power going? They have Jon Moxley win the TNT belt off of Wardlow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something? Just for the hell of it, because Moxley's won it twice. At this point, I'm not trying to be, I would love to see him as a 3-time champion, but think
it's already been seen,
and
recently, everybody's been wanting MJF to hold the title. Nobody's seen him hold the title. Everybody wants to see what he does afterwards. Right. He's going to be a great heel champion. Everybody knows it, but now it's time to see it.
And then why not have it done on the lower side with Moxley winning the TNT belt? You make it more prestigious at that point. You can imagine I know it's a mid-card title, but it used to be prestigious. It used to mean something. And I think personally Moxley can lose here, right?
I would put the All-Atlantic Championship around Moxley before the TNT
You would
title.
do that? So you have more, so my question...
I would put Moxley over against Pac. Okay.
So you have more faith in the All-Atlantic Championship being more prestigious?
Well, yeah, and think about it this way. Jon Moxley is known for being an out-of-country competitor, too. Correct. He was New Japan's United States champion there for a long time.
Yeah.
He held the GCW championship there for a long time. There was another indie promotion. He held their title there for a while. So he's known for being that type of guy. So to put the All-Atlantic Championship around him, it almost makes more sense. And then you put a TNT title around somebody like Bryan Danielson, and let him elevate the prestige of the TNT title as being, who he is. And then you elevate that title from a mid-card championship to almost a main event title.
Shout out to the 6 in the build. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. On Trovo, 6 in the build. You guys are amazing. On fire tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. We do 100%. I just want to say they got a lot of stock on Orange Cassidy tonight. That promo, that move that he hit on, and finally, is it just me? The man speaks on a mic? Holy crap. I was like, you've had this guy do the thumb up thing, and I know Orange Cassidy can hit promos. He's a really good promo. AEW has not shown that. And this is the problem with AEW. You have wrestlers that are on the indie scene, that have been in MLW, that have been in these, okay, they're not WWE, AEW-esque promotions, but these guys can cut promos. And for the love of God, finally, Orange Cassidy said something on a mic, finally. Spoke to Pac, finally. I was like, finally.
And that's going to be a good match and a good story to tell by itself,
Right, I agree with that. And it's like, I was just marveled on the fact that you finally gave Orange Cassidy a voice. He's not the guy that just thumbs up and everybody goes, well, damn, that guy sucks. You're putting him in squash match after squash match. Now we're going to see if they put Orange Cassidy over at Grand Slam for the All-Atlantic Championship. You need to have him on the mic talking at this point. You need to give us a reason why you have stock in him, why TK has stock in Orange Cassidy. You got to give me a reason I love his character. I love the music. Give me a reason to like him more. I'm losing kind of faith in him. A lot of faith. because there's so much thumbing up and hands in your pocket you can do. You got to adapt your character eventually to get over. And getting back to what Fatal was talking about, Sammy Guevara, I'm starting to agree with Fatal on this. Sammy Guevara has lost a couple spots on the round peg. He's gone down the board to literally low card to me. He could be championship material. I think he can. But the problem is that ever since his TNT run with the belt, when he had it twice and he was doing the greatest promo work of his career, he's just gone downhill from there. And I fall that on Tony Khan. That's a Tony Khan thing. You know, where Sammy, and I don't know if Fatal agrees with me, if you've watched his promo work going into the Moxley match, when he cut those promos and he said, I'm the guy that enters the building, leaves the building, I'm AEW. I'm not cutting promos on a media scrum about other wrestlers. I'm here going to work every day. I'm the guy. That's what Sammy Guevara should be doing, hands down, and putting it all together in a bottle. Because he has magic in the bottle. He has that Eddie Guerrero-esque, kind of. But I say the same thing about Sammy that I do Dominic Mysterio on WWE. You have the drive, you can cut promos, but you just don't put it together. It shoulda, woulda, coulda at this point. Now, Sammy Guevara, I know he's young, he has time, but how much time as a fan are we going to put into Sammy? You know what I mean? How much more? I get what they're going for. The Rated R Superstar back in the day, 2007, 2006, Edge, where Edge and Lita were macking on each other for a while there. I get what they're going for, but in 2022, it falls flat. I don't know how Fatal feels.
No, I kind of feel the same way. It kind of does fall flat. I do.
I feel like I'm watching a porno video. I don't know about you. I feel like I'm watching a porno video of two people macking out like it's fake. It's not. It's choreographed. You're kissing. If you're married, I've seen married couple, they get into it. When you're really loving your partner, you're getting into it, a kiss. I feel like this is like a cheap Stephanie McMahon, kissing somebody, or Trish Stratus, you know what I mean? Fake. It's not real. But that's my personal opinion on Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara, his character could be so much better. He should be further along than he is now. Same with Orange Cassidy. But it comes down to Tony Khan. Again, Tony Khan talks a big game, and this is where Fatal, before we even did a watch along today, before, in my own stream, I was trying to give AEW credit. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt so hard. Dark times. And I'm usually critical on everything, right? But Fatal had a lot of points to say, and I'll let Fatal take this one, because tonight we kind of got to see, don't get me wrong, with the whole Jon Moxley and Daniel Bryan, don't get me wrong, it's great, but they have to do what they got to do. But again, there's been two talks on two sides about CM Punk getting fired or the Elite getting released. And I'll let Fatal have the floor here, where he talked about kind of a nice outcome that could come out of this. And the thing is, it does kind of make sense, and it does make a lot of sense as a business standpoint. And go ahead, Fatal. You were telling me this afternoon, and I actually had some chance while we were doing the watch along to think about that. And what you were saying did make a lot of sense going forward about Kenny Omega.
Well, what you were seeing as we were watching it is everything that I was saying about it. They're going to lose all of their star power.
Yes. Well, you could see it. Ricky Stark, like, I got what you were saying earlier. So, like, Ricky Starks is too green.
Yeah.
Power Hobbs is too green.
Yes, they have some really good stars. But when you look at back in the day at a promotion like Impact Wrestling, they had a lot of really good stars too, but they still lost ratings because they didn't have, the ones that popped. Yes, AEW has the big name stars, but you're still waiting to see the faces like the Young Bucks. You can't wait to hear their music hit. You can't wait to hear the announcer go, and now,
Right.
this is things that AEW crowd has become accommodated to and accustomed to every single week,
Maybe you agree
or
with
at least
me.
at some point.
Maybe you agree with me on this one. The problem with Impact back in the day was they brought in ex-WWE stars, right? And they didn't build their homegrown talent. The problem with AEW is, and maybe you see it as I do, or maybe you don't. I feel that they're not building their homegrown talent enough. I feel like they're not getting good. For instance, their homegrown talent, as I mean, like Powerhouse Hobbs. He should be farther along than he is. Ricky Starks, homegrown talent from the indie scene that they picked up, built him up. He should be further along. Sammy Guevara. These talents that you want to be, that they call them the pillars, right? At Darby Allin, they should be farther along than they are. They should be cutting promos and having these beautiful feuds that want you to, brings in ratings. The things we liked about back in the day. What did we like about WWE, right? Or WWF back in the day? I hope I didn't get in trouble for saying WWF. But WWF back in the day, right? What did we like about it? The Attitude Era. We watched The Rock grow into his own. And I feel, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I see this wrong. I feel that AEW has all this farm talent. And I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity. They can build success. What I was trying to tell Fatal earlier was they have this farm talent that they can build into stars. There's some good diamonds in the rough there. But I just don't feel like Tony Khan gives a shit to care enough. He talks about WWE and how he didn't want to be Vince. Well, you're acting like Vince in a lot of ways. By crippling your talent, not giving them enough, and then going on podcasts and saying all this shit about how this person's getting this certain amount of time compared to this person, and saying it's justified. That's a Vince McMahon move to me. And the one thing that I will give, and I know I don't want to compare the two companies, but the things that I appreciate for Triple H is he builds his talent into stars and makes them feel important. The thing with AEW right now is you're seeing in the dark times, you're seeing chinks in the armor. And I agree with Fatal is you have WWE guys leading the charge.
Yep.
And you don't have the farm system growing, progressing. You need to progress your farm system. What I mean by farm system is if you ever watched baseball or the NFL, right? You have the practice squad and you have the main guys. The practice people could be good enough to maybe make the main roster. The thing is, that's where Dark comes in. This is where they need to be working on Dark. Dark needs to get better personally. And Dark Elevation, personally, should just be called Monday Night Elevation. Personally, take the Dark name out of it. Because Dark Elevation with Paul White and Tony Schiavone is really good. I just feel that it doesn't get the credit it deserves. And this falls on Tony Khan. I could have a whole 3-hour-long video talking about Tony Khan and how I feel. Honestly, I think Tony Khan he's the fan of the wrestler. The fans of the wrestlers, right? He's not an owner. And what he needs to do now at this point, he's in his 40s almost. I think he's 40. And he's acting like he's a child more than being an owner. The things I appreciated by and I know I'm going to say this. Vince McMahon, right? The things I appreciated about Vince McMahon was the facts that by this time, Vince McMahon had everything good to go. And he overturned and made the Attitude Era. The thing, Tony Khan has two roads he can go down at this point. Maybe Fatal agrees with me or he doesn't. He could turn this into an opportunity to build his younger talent and make them into stars. And AEW can score the limit, right? And bring back the Young Bucks and all that and have a really good show without CM Punk and make hella money. Hella money. Or he fires everybody and tries to build up his young roster and fail. Those are the two roads he's going to go down. And I don't want to see the second one. I want to see the first one, really. I think he's bringing back the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. Either they're allowed to do dates, Comic-Cons and things like that. So if they're allowed to do that, I think they're going to be back. I think they had a meeting, Punk and Khan again, had a meeting, I guess, this week after surgery he had. I personally think CM Punk's on his way out. I really think it's going that way. I think the executives want that to go that way. I think, honestly, that's where Tony Khan's going. I think Tony Khan's being done hearing the fans saying he should be gone. And this should be a lesson to Tony Khan. You don't bring any egotistical people into your company. Vince tried that and didn't work. Didn't work out very well when he had CM Punk the first time around and the second time around. Didn't work out well. Welcome in, buddy, on Trovo. Anyway, Fatal, we need. Should we talk about the women's match? Did you watch the women's match? Or do you want me just to go past it because it was kind of not really great? You had your champion lose. Did you want me to go past that, Fatal, that match?
Do what?
The women's match?
No, yeah, we could pass it.
Guys, pretty much it was Britt Baker and Toni Storm going at each other technically at the end, with Britt Baker being a heel. Britt Baker looked like she went over in Albany, New York. And Serena Deeb, we're finally seeing her on TV, thank God. Serena Deeb's good talent. I just don't feel like they use her enough. Now, we're going to get into, there was 2 tournament matches tonight. I'm not gonna go over Powerhouse Hobbs because Powerhouse Hobbs squashed looked like an indie talent from New York, like somebody that you just don't care about in a matter of seconds. And then Ricky Starks came out and beat the shit out of him, or tried to with a mic. They're redoing their thing for a Grand Slam because they're trying to get people to get excited about the matches. So we talked about Sammy Guevara. We're gonna go into the main event. There was a couple promos. One by All Ego Ethan Page when a guy was flipping pizza, I guess. I didn't really pay attention. It was kind of stupid to begin with. It was a guy from the indie talent. I think he was a friend of Danhausen. And he kicked All Ethan Page and looked like he was going to give him a curse. But I guess All Ego Ethan Page versus Danhausen is happening on Rampage, I think. I think that's what they're going for this week. So getting into that main event, Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. What a hell of a match. Both of these guys can go all day long. I can watch these guys go all day long at each other. Fatal, go ahead and give your thoughts on the match. I'll give it yours.
I mean, that was a really good match. I mean, it was back and forth. It had the right amount of ups and downs. You know, the crowd reaction was good. Did I expect Bryan Danielson to win? No, not really. I mean, honestly, I felt like it was going to be Jericho because, you know, Jericho and Moxley have a past. Jericho and MJF have a past. And if you put the 3 of them together, it could be a 5-star rating. But AEW thought a different route. But, I mean, you know, like we said earlier, they could still go the route of, you know, MJF just interjects himself in the middle of the match and takes the title and rips it from both of them. And they're both just left with their hands in their pants.
What happens if MJF comes in next week and literally cashes in his thing and it becomes a 3-way?
I mean, that could go too.
I'd be all right with that. That would be good. And then you protect Bryan and you also protect Moxley. You have him. Who takes the pin, though, at that point? That's my question. Who would take the pin? And you would have Danielson take the pin at that point. Because Daniel's been lose, putting people over, though, in those losses, though. Can't say he really lost. He's been putting talent over. But here's the thing, though. You have Danielson come in, right? And when he cut that promo when he first came to the company, he said he wants to be the champion. He wants to be, you know, the face that runs the place. You know what I mean? Kick ass and chew bubblegum. Basically what he...
Yeah.
I'm summarizing, but basically he wants to kick ass. Why do you have him lose? If he came in and cut this big-ass promo and said he's going to beat everybody, why have him lose weekly?
Right.
So now, you know, well, he's also concussion prone. So he had I think he had a concussion, recently, or it was something to do with something injured or something like that, and he was gone for weeks. Could have been concussion. Now or never with him. You got to pull the trigger here. If you're going to give Danielson the championship, you better have him hold it for a couple of months. Then what you do is at a nice big pay-per-view, we got a couple nights. I think we got Double or Nothing. Was Double or Nothing February, right? Is it February or January? I don't remember. But you got a nice pay-per-view set up for MJF. Let Danielson have it for a minute. Then you have Daniel. Then you set that feud up with MJF. The thing with MJF is I'm done seeing him on a mic cutting promos. I want him. He's got the physique. He's got the body. I want him to see him in matches. Either you have him win the belt here at Grand Slam and make it make it finally put it all together and finally give MJF what he deserves, or you don't and you wait for the right opportunity to have MJF get a couple victories down his waist, get him going on some victories and give him the momentum, then have him win it, cash in and win it. But either way, it's going to be interesting. Is it going to be the winner of MJF? The winter of MJF. The winter is coming. I think so. I think they pull the trigger here. They have no other choice. He is the most piping hot wrestling talent outside of Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens. Like, I'm talking about when people go crazy for somebody. Roman Reigns-esque cheer. And to me, you have to reward that. His merchandise sales are out the roof. I'm going to buy an MJF shirt. I'm an MJF mark, sorry. I'm a mark. I like him to pieces, man. Anything he does heel-wise. I know it's all, he lives the character, breathes the character, but I love MJF. He embodies what a New Yorker is, because half of my family are New Yorkers, and, his religious background, I can't say that on stream, but can I? He's Jewish. Yeah. Jewish, and I grew up with a lot of, when I went to high school, a lot of Jewish kids. So, it all just comes full circle for me. That's why I'm a huge fan, because it feels like I'm literally talking to a New Yorker that's an asshole at the same time as I'm getting that Jewish kid that I was in high school with. So it all comes full circle. So it's great. So that's why I love MJF. He reminds me of the guy at the barbecue that you just, he turns around and he eats your food and he goes, "This fucking sucks. I'm out. I'm going to go get beer and I'm out. And you have a nice day." He tells you like it is. That's what I like about MJF. But I'm going on Fatal next week. Do you think Grand Slam's going to be all that in a bag of chips, or are we thinking it's going to be the same as this week?
Yeah.
Early prediction.
What was the question?
Early prediction. Grand Slam. Do you think it's going to be lukewarm? Do you think it's going to be...
I think it's going to be lukewarm to start, and, there's going to be a lot of excitement to see what happens.
Oh, I stepped over this, and Swerve, I know you say you watch all reviews on... I hope you better be watching SlamZoneSports, my guy. Because it's Swerve's house. Swerve, you got hustle, loyalty, and respected on by the Acclaim tonight. They came out and they buried you, bud. Don't piss off Max Caster, all right? Don't piss him off, because I enjoyed that promo. Minus one of our buddies was over talking the whole entire promo, but I had to watch it back. Thank God on the stream that I had, you can rewind it back. And I was able to rewind it back a little bit and listen to Max Caster, dude. He can cut out freaking devastating promo. I don't know how Fatal feels, but you could scissor me, daddy. I'm buying that shirt too. You could scissor me, daddy. I'm with it. I'm buying into what Fatal was saying a few weeks ago to me. The Claim's going to be champion. I think they're going to be champion. Swerve has kind of turned me off.
I can see it.
He's turned me off a little bit. I just feel like there's going to be a feud between him and Keith Lee coming soon. I say this now. Starts at Grand Slam. Claim will get their first championship. I'm actually liking Matt Caster. I think, honestly, maybe Fatal doesn't agree with me. I think Max Caster can be on his own, cutting John Cena-ass promos. Like when he was thumbing Namex Cena. Perfect. I think it would be perfect for him. I can see Max Caster being champ. I really can. Like a TNT champion eventually down the road. I could see it. All-Atlantic. Totally see it. Now,
yeah, I guess I could see that.
Now, do you see the Acclaim and Mr. Assman Billy Gunn becoming what we want to call trios champion down the road. That'd be something. The Scissor Me Daddy group. I'm kidding. I can see them as tag team and trios champion. I could see that. But anyway, tonight, Fatal, what are we giving it tonight? What do you think the ratings are going to be? Where do you think this is all going to include? What do you final thoughts? Fatal, did we lose Fatal? Did we lose Fatal for a second? Well, all right. I'm gonna read the wrestling news, and we'll get to Fatal's final thoughts here in a minute.
I'm gonna give it like a solid B.
Solid B. All right. I'm going B minus. Could have been average to me. Really average. Outside of the MJF and the that tag team interruption by the Acclaim. Literally a B minus to me. Could have been. I could have gave it a C really. But to me, I'm being harsh. You got to start wowing me with these shows. I'm not kidding. Tony Khan coming out on the mic on these podcasts and saying that their show's the greatest thing on earth. You better start impressing me. You better be throwing home runs at me every week. Seriously, what made the Attitude Era great was the fact that every week we watched Monday Night Wars and it was game on. You better have a game face on, Tony Khan, every time you do something. You can't just come out on podcasts and say your show's the shit compared to WWE. Yes, WWE's been down a little bit, but their shows still have a beginning, middle, and end. Just saying. They may be stupid, but they have a beginning, middle, and end. And NXT's starting to come in its own. If you guys didn't see NXT change their logo, so I'm in wrestling news before we get out of here. NXT changed their logo. If you guys didn't know, now it's back to red and gold. Red, it's like a red, goldish black. So that's the new logo they're going with starting next week. They're relaunching NXT. They're just going to call it NXT. No 2.0, no Heat Wave, no nothing. It's just going to be called NXT every week. I'm cool with that. 100%. And they said there's a lot of shakeups that are going to be happening with characters too. So I'm with it. If it goes back to Triple H NXT, I'm all for it. I will watch more NXT. Let's see. Anything else in the news? So Pat Buck was brought back this week. Some of the producers are being slowly rolled back in after the altercation with CM Punk and the Elite after the all-out brawl scrum. Thunder Rosa gives an update. It was not kayfabe why she was injured. She's actually fully injured. She has a severe back injury that she is going through. Took pictures today on Twitter. I'll have links down below for you guys if you want to read this stuff in the description on the YouTube side of things after the fact. She's having therapy, back session, therapy session. So she is not, this is not a work or a shoot. And this is the one thing about the dirt sheets that need to stop doing this stuff. Like, they need to stop making AEW when there's negative happening, they go all out negative. For some odd reason. Let's see the other thing. So Thunder Rosa is officially injured. She won't be back for quite a while. Let's see here. So EC3 says control your narrative business has to re-evaluate after Braun Strowman's WWE return. That tells me either EC3 is going back to WWE or not. I don't know. Brandon Cutler and several others have been removed. I talked about that. So Brian Alvarez reported that Pat Buck and all the people backstage that were producers and whatnot are being brought back slowly, which is great for TV. WWE title belts are getting new looks. I guess that's a thing. So good on WWE there. But that's pretty much about it for the show this week. You guys are in the know. I will have all these articles down below for you guys to read. Kenny Omega is being featured in a video game. If you guys didn't know, Yakuza, the new one. He did give an update on during Tokyo Game Show during the Sega press event. He did give an update on Fight Forever. He said it's still in works. They do not know when it's going to be released. They said they're shooting for fall, winter, but it said it may come later than that if it's not up to expectations. So he said, be patient. But they are taking pre-orders. They are getting ready for the game to come out. I'm assuming they're just fixing bugs. Lots and lots of bugs. And that's that. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on in and watching the watch along this week. All the views, all the follows, all the likes, everything, guys. Even all the follows over on Twitch, the subscribes on YouTube and everything. Keep hitting that thumb up. Keep hitting the bell icon. I got a lot of videos coming up for the channel throughout the week. Gaming news, things like that. Fatal and I are also going to be doing some more wrestling talk stuff off air. We'll record a few videos here and there this week. I know there's going to be more news stories and more gaming news stories. Like, for instance, Twitch just talked about more multi-streaming stuff, so we'll be talking about that. Ninja talking about multicasting. There's so much stuff we're going to talk about this week. Fatal and I are going to talk so much gaming news. There's so much esports news to happen. There's Halo news. There's so much stuff out there. So, guys, stay tuned for more videos from us. Also, we'll probably give our thoughts on the NFL, how the week 1 went and all that in the games before the next week of stuff. Maybe. Don't keep me to it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. God bless everybody. I can't rate anybody on on Trovo. Guys, gotta bring your friends. Bring a friend. Phone a friend. Come on down. Come watch us. Help us. We're trying to get to level 2. Please help us out. I appreciate it. You guys have been doing an amazing supporting. We'll see you next. When's the next time, Fatal? Friday? We doing Friday? Or are we
yeah, we're gonna do Friday.
Gotcha. All right. We'll see you on Friday for Rampage. All right, guys.